WWE Elimination Chamber 2025 comes to you live this Saturday from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We have 4 matches announced, including 2 massive Elimination Chamber matches and 1 promo segment final boss shenanigans thing that we'll also get into throughout this video. So this is my official predictions for the 2025 WWE Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. On the whole, I'm really excited for this show. I think more or less every match and everything on the card is really unpredictable, minus one match that we'll get to a little bit later. But for now, we're going to start with the Women's Elimination Chamber match to determine who will face either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky, depending on their match next week on Raw, for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania. And the participants in this one are Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez. So this is a really, well, I say really unpredictable match. I've managed to narrow it down to 2 people and I still don't really know who I'm going to pick. So if we just go through the names here, Alexa Bliss, I don't think is going to be in a world title match at WrestleMania. She's got this over-looming threat or assistance, if you know, we don't know what it will be, of the Wyatt Six, and I'm sure we'll sort of lean into something like that. But I just don't see Alexa Bliss being in the Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. Bayley, no, I don't think she's got too much sort of behind her to put her in a match with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Naomi, no. Just lost the Women's Tag Team Championships on the Raw just gone to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and has another over-looming story which we'll touch on in a second. Roxanne Perez is like a very distant wild card. Like, she could win and it would make a bit of sense, but also I'm not sure if they're gonna, you know, strap that rocket to Roxanne Perez and just go with her. She's also sort of had this feud building in NXT with Bayley, and they may carry that into the main roster and into a WrestleMania program for those 2 women. So then that leaves us with Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair, and I'm really torn between these 2. And the thing that made this difficult for me was I was thinking Bianca Belair, but then on Raw they lost the Women's Tag Team Championships, Bianca Belair and Naomi, to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and in my head that meant, oh, Bianca doesn't have to worry about the Tag Team Championships anymore. She can go into a singles match at WrestleMania with Rhea Ripley, and the tag team titles can be defended. However, with Bianca Belair, as I mentioned, we've got this big overhanging threat that is Jade Cargill. So Jade was attacked by a mystery attacker months and months ago now, and it feels like we have to pay off this storyline at WrestleMania, otherwise when are we going to pay it off? And the thing that makes the most sense for me is that it was Bianca Belair who attacked Jade Cargill. Now it could be Naomi, and that would make sense as well. Maybe you have a triple threat between the 3, but for me, just the big money match is Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. So with that in mind, that sort of rules out Bianca Belair, which leaves us with Liv Morgan, which doesn't make too much sense to me because we've had Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley so many times now that it sort of feels like we don't need it again. However, with this upcoming title match between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at Monday Night Raw this week coming, there's the chance that maybe Liv wins the Elimination Chamber. She then interferes in that match between Rhea and Io, and then that sets up a triple threat at WrestleMania, which is something I would be far more interested in than the one-on-one prospect of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. So with all of that in mind, I know this means that if Liv's in the world title match, what happens to the Women's Tag Team Championships? I don't think WWE care too much about the Women's Tag Team Championships, to be honest with you. So, who knows? They just won't be defended on the card, I guess. But maybe Liv pulls double duty as well, but I don't know. But either way, I think I've sort of talked through all my thoughts here out loud to you, and I've settled on Liv Morgan being the winner of the Women's Chamber match, and then maybe going on to Monday Night Raw and interfering in that title match between Rhea and Io Sky, and then we set up a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Next up, we have a tag team match between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus going up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So this match is not too exciting to me, to be honest. I know we've got a legend in the form of Trish Stratus. We've got the women's world champion or women's champion, I always forget which one it is, of Tiffany Stratton, women's champion, world champion's on Raw. Women's champion Tiffany Stratton. We've got Nia Jax, who's always interesting to watch, and we've got Candice LeRae. But there's a decent amount of star power in this match, but it just feels strange to me. It feels very predictable. First of all, my pick is going to be Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. I think that is nailed on, going to happen, and I think poor old Candice LeRae is getting pinned by whoever wins the match, whether it be Trish or Tiffany for their team. But it just feels very predictable. We're in Canada. Trish Stratus is from Canada, so you know you can get that feel-good home person victory, and you know a legend coming out of, was Trish retired, or you know she's been on, hasn't performed in ring for a couple of years now, I think, except for at the Rumble obviously. So you know Trish winning in Canada, she doesn't wrestle too often, so you know I assume this would be a match that they will win. Tiffany, feel like you couldn't really give Tiffany a loss on the premium live event before WrestleMania. That would just sort of flatten out her momentum and make her less of a credible opponent for Charlotte Flair in that title match at WrestleMania. So there's not really too much else to say about this one. I think it's quite predictable. I think it's a bit strange. I would rather have had Tiffany actually defending her title. It feels like a bit of just an excuse to get Trish Stratus into a match on the card. Maybe there was a different way you could have done that. Maybe you could have done Trish against Tiffany or something like that. That might have been quite interesting. But then you obviously would have had to have had Trish losing, so if they didn't want to do that, then I guess this tag team match is the only way that we could have put all of these things together and resulted in a match that protects Trish, protects Tiffany, and you know builds us towards WrestleMania. So very predictable, not too exciting for this one, but I'm going to go with Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton. That's a lot of strat to get out of my mouth. Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton to win this match. Next, let's talk about the unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So this one is just going to be an absolute war. I'm probably most excited for this match, maybe alongside the men's chamber match. This is just going to be disgustingly brutal and violent and beautiful all at the same time to watch. And it's also quite unpredictable. You can easily go either way with it, and there's some outside factors to bear in mind with this match. First of all, the fact that this is an unsanctioned match just means that there's going to be some absolutely incredible things happening. There's going to be some brutal spots. You know, this could very easily end up being a match of the year contender by the time we get to the end of the year. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Obviously, the history between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens doesn't need to be spoken about. If you don't know the history between the two, then how are you watching this YouTube video? But you know, there is so much history, decades of history between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen and El Generico, if you will. But there is so much history here to play with, and the outside factors that we also have to consider away from just the personal rivalry between the two is the potential mini feuds we have for these two to go into WrestleMania. So when this feud started happening, I think we all thought Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, that's going to be the WrestleMania match that we get. But I understand why they've done it now. Obviously, both men are Canadian. Elimination Chamber is in Canada, so it makes sense to do it here. And, you know, it feels like a massive match, and it gives a little bit of a different feel to the Elimination Chamber card. You know, it makes things a bit more exciting. You know, we've got the 2 chamber matches and then a tag match. You know, if it was just another random singles match, you might have been a bit stale in between the chamber matches, but this gives us something to be excited about that's not the Elimination Chamber match. So that's really good for the card. But, you know, this could have been the WrestleMania match. It's not, and that's fine, because I think both men involved have a story to go into WrestleMania, and that also plays a factor into who I think should win this match. So the feuds that we can build to eventually will be the returning Randy Orton going up against Kevin Owens and Karrion Kross going up against Sami Zayn. Now, I don't think either men need to interfere in this match. I think there's already enough at play here with the stipulation of the match and the history that you don't need outside interference within the match to get us to all the end destinations that we want to go to. With that in mind, I'm taking Kevin Owens to win this match because in these post Elimination Chamber feuds and going into WrestleMania, I think if it's Zayn versus Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn will probably win that feud. I would love Karrion Kross to win that feud. I'm actually really enjoying the just sort of character that he's playing. He's making it genuinely so entertaining with so little. So credit to Karrion Kross. I really enjoy what he's doing. But I think Sami Zayn will probably win that feud, which is a bit boring in my opinion, but that means he'll get his big win at WrestleMania, whereas Kevin Owens going up against a returning Randy Orton, you know, there's more scope for Randy Orton to win that match. So if Zayn's going to get his big win at WrestleMania, let's give Kevin Owens his big win at Elimination Chamber. And I think it's about time Kevin Owens actually wins a big premium live event singles match because he deserves it. He's amazing. He's done some fantastic work with Cody Rhodes recently over the last few months. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to be taking Kevin Owens to win this unsanctioned match. Next up, we need to talk about the segment between The Rock and Cody Rhodes. Whatever this is going to be, let's talk about it. So first of all, I have absolutely no idea what is actually going to happen in this thing. Well, I do have an idea. Cody Rhodes is going to refuse The Rock's offer for him to sell his soul to The Rock. Is that what he said? Sell your soul? Cody's going to refuse that. I think that's plain and simple, fairly obvious. For now, at least, maybe we can build something else. But for now, at this very moment at Elimination Chamber, Cody is going to refuse that offer. But ultimately, this has to be leading somewhere. Otherwise, what's the point? And when The Rock said in his press conference after, was it SmackDown or Raw? I can't remember which show it was after. He had a little press conference where he said that not everything needs to lead to a match. We all want to see a match with The Rock. I don't care who it's against, just have a bloody match with someone. Nonetheless, I'm not sure where this is going, to be honest. The logical, so obviously this is leading to The Rock's trying to turn Cody Rhodes heel. That's what we have in our hands here. That's what we're playing with. And it's going to be, can Cody Rhodes, fight against those things? We've seen CM Punk telling him that the weight of the crown is starting to weigh on Cody Rhodes. So there is an interesting story dynamic here being, can Cody Rhodes stay as a good, positive guy, or will he turn heel? And The Rock is a great person to do that with, and I've got this really, not scary image, quite fun image of, obviously at WrestleMania 17, we had Austin selling his soul to the devil, that devil being Vince McMahon at the time. And maybe we sort of recreate that scenario with Cody Rhodes selling his soul to the devil, aka The Rock. The Rock, as such, helping Cody Rhodes retain his championship at WrestleMania, and that's how we turn Cody heel. Obviously, there's the whole Cody Homelander thing. So, I would be really interested in a Cody Rhodes heel run. But at the same time, I don't know if WWE will turn Cody Rhodes heel because he is, the face of the company, the sort of, branding, marketing, merchandise, all of that stuff. He's all over all of it. I assume he's at the top of the pile for pretty much all of it. So he's such a money-making asset that I don't know if they would turn him heel. But I don't really know what to say about this, to be honest. It's an interesting storyline of, can Cody resist that urge to turn to the dark side? Can The Rock persuade him? Who knows? I don't really know where we're going. I just hope we're going somewhere. That's all I need from this. So I guess my prediction is that Cody will refuse The Rock's offer of selling his soul. But other than that, I don't know. And if Cody does sell his soul, where will he keep all of his adrenaline? I found that quite funny. Adrenaline in my soul, something, Cody Rhodes. Shut up. And last but by no means least, we have the Men's Elimination Chamber match to determine the number one contender for Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And the people in this one are Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and John Cena. So again, as we did with the Women's Chamber, I think the best way to work this one out is just go through the names one by one. So we'll start with Seth Rollins, and for me, no, although Cody and Seth have so much chemistry, the promo that they had on the Raw just gone was really, really good. It sort of, helped to build this Cody and Rock thing, whatever it is, because they didn't actually do a great job of that from SmackDown. So it helped to build us to something there. And in that sense, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins could make a lot of sense. There's a lot of history between the two. Obviously, we had the Hell in a Cell Peck Chamber match thing. We've got the WrestleMania tag match from last year. There's so much history between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. But Seth Rollins has a bigger storyline going on at the moment, which is Roman Reigns. Obviously, he murdered Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. So I'm assuming that's what we're getting at WrestleMania. I know that the rumor online has been that it's going to be Seth Rollins, Roman, and Punk in a triple threat match. That triple threat I'm sure it would be amazing, and it appeals to me because of the star power within the match. But I think the match that makes more sense is Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns in a single match, because you've just got so much history to play on there. So that's one that makes sense for me. So Seth Rollins is out of the running. Damian Priest, he's just not going to win this match. I've not really got much more to say about that. He's just not going to win. Logan Paul is not going to win either, and I think that's fairly safe to say, but he could be the most important person in this match, in the sense that he could be the one who actually decides the winner, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. Drew McIntyre is always an option because, he's just so bloody good at what he does. But again, I'm not sure that this is what we're going to go for. There was rumour that we're going to get Drew and Priest at WrestleMania, but because that got so much backlash online, apparently plans have changed. I doubt that plan has changed to Drew winning and going for the world title against Cody Rhodes, but we'll have to see. And it's fair to say Drew versus Priest does absolutely nothing for me, to be honest. So hopefully we get something a bit better for Drew at WrestleMania. And that leaves us with the two favourites. I'm almost 100% certain one of these two will win the match: John Cena and CM Punk. And if these are the last two, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, let's talk about these two. John Cena, last ever Elimination Chamber match, last ever premium live event in Toronto. It makes sense, and this has been the rumoured match for a while now, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. But in my head, I've just got this feeling that Logan Paul is going to cost John Cena at the Elimination Chamber. And Cena versus Paul, that would be fun. That would be it's a match we haven't had before. That would be really fun. It's a big name star power match. I'm just not sure it's what I want John Cena to be doing at his last ever WrestleMania. That it doesn't really strike for me. For me, John Cena has to be in the main event of his last WrestleMania, because it's John Cena and it's his last WrestleMania. Like, he is one of the greatest of all time. He was the face of the company for, 10, 15, 20 years almost. So it feels like he should be in the world title match. And the more I'm talking, originally I had CM Punk as my win here, but the more I'm talking here, if we are going to get Cody turning heel, how sort of poetic would it be that the new John Cena, aka Cody Rhodes, who, Cena never turned heel, is turned heel on by the new John Cena, and we actually finally get that baby, that huge face of the company, turning heel with The Rock, with all the history between John Cena and The Rock being the devil on the shoulder of Cody Rhodes who persuades him to turn heel. That could actually be really fun, and that could also be a way of, screwing Cena out of his 17th championship, and then maybe we build Cena versus Cody up again, and we can revisit it at SummerSlam or something like that. Who knows? That makes quite a lot of sense to me. The other option, of course, is CM Punk, and that just makes sense as well for the same time. You can even just have the exact same story that I've just said there with The Rock turning Cody heel. Or even if you're not going to turn Cody heel, you know, both these matches make sense. Cena can lose. You know, everyone's like, oh, he's not going to win his 17th championship. Build and build and build. And then eventually, when he does win it, you know, we've had a long-term payoff. And the same goes for CM Punk, really, in the sense that he needs, or he wants, his WrestleMania main event. We've got the favour from Paul Heyman that I still am not convinced that WWE actually know what that favour is. I think they sort of used it in a thing just as a we'll fall back on that if and when we need to. So we don't know what that is. And as I'm looking at the match card here and I'm speaking to the camera, I'm still not sure who I want to go with. I'm leaning... John Cena makes sense. It's the one that's been rumoured for a long time. And the match makes sense, and I think... But then Punk, the whole storyline at the moment has been Punk getting his WrestleMania main event. The only other factor involved in this, I think, is on the Raw just gone, we had a little promo back and forth between CM Punk and Logan Paul. So maybe instead of it being Logan costing John Cena, maybe he costs CM Punk and that's the WrestleMania match. I don't know. I'm so torn here. I'm not going to chew your ear forever here. I'm just going to go with John Cena because it makes sense. Put him in the world title match, the main event of his last ever WrestleMania. That just seems like the logical step to me, but I'm not sure. It could go either way. It could be CM Punk. I think Logan Paul will be such an important factor because I think whoever doesn't win, Logan Paul will feud with at WrestleMania. So bear that in mind. Feel free to, you know, call me a genius when all of this happens. But yeah, those are going to be my official predictions for Elimination Chamber 2025. I hope you're excited for the pay-per-view. Let me know in the comments who you think should win each match. And yeah, thank you for watching.